Alright, how's it going? I just figured I'd come on here today and talk about the latest, set of movies that I've bought in some video games. It's quite a few, so buckle up. And a lot of these are movies that I feel like I've really needed for a long time, and finally got my hands on some of them that I hadn't seen, and I've been catching up watching them the last few days to try and have more to say when I make this video. So we'll just hop off. The Girl Next Door. I'm probably gonna upgrade this, but it was $1 or not even 50 cents, and I really like this movie. It's got a really good premise. I find it, interesting. What's her face in the movie? Alicia Cuthbert is very schmokin'. And Emile Hirsch, I like him. There's just something about him as a main character in movies, or just an actor in general. Alpha Dog, this. I really like him as Speed Racer. Everybody hates that movie, but I personally just like him as an actor. I find him likable. Almost Famous. I like this, but there was just some things that, I probably would have done different, but that's just my nitpicking. But I enjoyed it. It was a fun travel through 1970s rock and roll, kind of on the down spiral of when rock and roll kind of started turning into something different. But it was very interesting to kind of follow a band and see the dynamic of how everything is unfolding. And I like the characters, too. Billy Crudup in this movie, he's incredible, I'll be honest. And Jason Lee's always good. Another movie I'm going to upgrade as soon as I possibly can find a cheap enough copy, Zodiac. I loved every minute of this movie. This is like instantly hopped into my favorite David Fincher movie, probably. I'm just so fascinated by stories like this, based off true events. And this was a true event that took place over about 15 years, where they were receiving these letters. And it's just very interesting to kind of dive into the mind of these characters and watch Jake Gyllenhaal just kind of go insane in this movie. It's awesome. If you haven't seen it, please go watch Zodiac. It's awesome. Now, I messed up. I do this at least once every time I go and buy a bunch of DVDs. I do it a lot with my Adam Sandler movies. I bought Longest Yard on full screen, and I was out with my girlfriend, and we go out on binges sometimes to just grab as many DVDs as we can because they're on sale at certain places we go to. And I told her to grab the last one, and we didn't check. And this was the last one. It's got an M on the case, too, so somebody wrote their name on it. How lovely. So, again, I'm going to have to upgrade this. Longest Yard, solid remake. The original, I have never seen it. I've seen, the first 25 minutes where he peels out and is old. Is it a Porsche? Love it. Love the remake. Accepted. This is one of those buried gems, in my opinion, and I like Justin Long. Everything I've seen him in, I just get behind his character. Jeepers Creepers, Dodgeball, this, Waiting. I just really like him. I feel like he was kind of a really good choice for Peter Parker there for a while. They just kind of missed out on that. I always thought that he would have been just like the perfect Spider-Man, but, whatever. It is what it is. This movie's really good, him and Jonah Hill. This is kind of like right when their careers were taking off. This is the first movie I think Jonah Hill really got a break in that I can think of. Pretty good in it, too. Welcome to Good Burger, Hama, the Good Burger. Gonna take your order. Yeah, I had to get this. Probably gonna get this on Blu-ray eventually, too. Gotta love Good Burger. If you just want to have a good night or a good time, you put this in. Same with all those Nickelodeon shows that I grew up on. But this is just classic. And you got Sinbad in there. Any movie with Sinbad just makes my life so much better. I love Sinbad. The Ringer. Now, if you want to offend people, you put The Ringer on. This movie will piss everybody off that you know. It is truly offensive. And it's my favorite Johnny Knoxville movie for that very reason. I have to watch this at least once every 2 or 3 years just so I can remember what a funny, offensive comedy can be like. This would never be made now. You would never see a movie even close to this offensive now. So I just had to go and get that for myself because I've always wanted to own it. I guess I'll get the video games out of the way now. I have a huge stack of Blu-rays I'll get into. WWE 2K16. I gotta get the tags off there. For 360. I've already beaten it on Xbox One, and I just heard that it's kind of a more fun experience on last gen because, again, they were going through these tweaks where they're moving to next gen and then hadn't quite figured out how to make it a next gen thing yet, where it's a lot clunkier, slower. I kind of like the more fast-paced arcadey wrestling games. Forza Motorsport 4 I remember playing this as a child, but I'm gonna have to get back into this. It's one of the better track games ever made, so I had to get this. I'm a huge Forza fan, and I'm trying to collect more 360 games so I can kind of explore these games that I just feel like I missed out on, because I was always playing the same 2 or 3 games. NHL, which I have right here, 2 NHLs. The last 2 on 360 I needed to own, so I grabbed both of them, NHL 08 and 09. I'm not going to play these very often, but it's just nice to have the capability of, alright, if I want to just go back and have a nostalgic moment or day, I'll go play NHL 08 or 09. I grew up on these games religiously. Every day, come home and play it. Just like this game, SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. I got this 4 or 5 months ago on PS2, and I thought that was the end. I thought I was lucky enough to get it on that. But I found this for $10, and I almost broke down in tears. I'm not even kidding, not even slightly exaggerating. This is the closest I've ever been to like melting down, because it's like this game I've been looking for on 360s my entire life, and it's always $50 to $100 everywhere you go. So finding it for $10 was just completely and utterly insane to me, and I've already grinded the hell out of it, and I absolutely love that game. It's top 2 or 3 wrestling games ever made. I still put SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 just a bit above it. Alright, so we'll hop into the Blu-rays now. Lots of them to talk about, so this video is probably going to be pretty long. We got Labyrinth, and I pushed this movie off my entire life because I thought I'd kind of passed the point of being interested in something this childish. But I don't think you ever really escape being a child mentally, so when I watched this, I just felt like a kid again watching these escapism movies like Star Wars, and I felt that. Jim Henson really captured everything I needed. And it's a great adventure, it's a great fantasy story, and this digibook, I love it. And there goes those. But I love the digibook. I've seen the other Blu-ray many times, and I had to have the digibook. Oh, you got the board game. You're gonna play the Labyrinth board game. Boys in the Hood. Ricky! This is probably my favorite gangster movie ever, even though there's not really any gangs in it other than, you know, the guys that kill Ricky, and I guess Doughboy's in a gang. But this is just incredible, and the fact that John Singleton made this when he was younger than me. I think he was 21 when he made this, which is just crazy. It's his best movie ever. You know, he didn't really have anything after that besides Baby Boy that was that good. And this is just like, he couldn't top it, I don't think, ever. Even if he lived longer and made more movies, I don't think he would have made anything better than this. It's everyone in this movie's best acting performance, even Lawrence Fishburne. I just think he's utterly incredible. If you haven't seen it, please go watch Boys in the Hood, because it's awesome. Gangs of New York. I have this on DVD, I just had to get it so I could have it on one disc. So tired of having to put 2 different discs in, like Titanic. It's kind of annoying. I don't really know why they did that. You could fit a 3-hour movie. This isn't even 3 hours. I'm pretty sure it's only 2 hours and 48 minutes or something like that. Could easily have fit that on a DVD. I have DVDs longer than that. Casino's on DVD, and that's 3 hours. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they were doing, but maybe it's a marketing tool. Just know I had to have it on Blu-ray. It's a beautiful movie. Love Martin Scorsese as a director. Daniel Day-Lewis pretty much always gives an amazing performance. DiCaprio does a good job. The only weak link for me is Cameron Diaz. I don't really think she fit the role, but you know, it is what it is. Social Network. Another Fincher movie, and I just love this to bits. You know, I've seen a lot of people online talking about that they couldn't even finish this. They were bored. And this is my type of movie. As I've gotten older, you know, I don't love action as much. I used to, basically every time I'd watch a movie, it was either action or comedy. There was nothing else that I had any interest in. Now it's movies like this, where it tells a story, fictional or real, this just happens to be real, about characters that aren't really good people. You know, they seem great, they seem like nice people, they're not. They're scummy, and I have another movie in this stack here that's just like that, where you feel like you're watching a terrible person because you are. And he's supposed to be your hero. War of the Worlds. One of my guilty pleasure Spielberg movies and Tom Cruise movies. I know this movie isn't that great. The story's kind of all over the place. Justin Chatwin's straight up annoying in this movie. But I just love alien stuff. I always have and I always will. And there's something about the concept of coming out of the ground after all these years and just evaporating people and using our blood to harvest these plants basically for their own planet. It's very dark, and I just love the whole concept, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. I think the action's kind of underrated. Some of the CGI hasn't aged that well, but again, 2005. Memento. I'm probably the only person on the planet that does not love this movie. I don't hate it, but I don't like it either. I don't know. I bought it. It was like $2, and I just figured one of these days I'm going to probably want to watch it again, and it's never on streaming other than Amazon sometimes, and they take it off, put it on, take it off. So I just figured I'll grab it. It's like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I need to watch it again, and maybe watching it on Blu-ray at late night, you know, with a couple drinks in me, will help that experience. Another find that was pretty close to my SmackDown versus Raw find. This was $1, and I couldn't believe it, because everywhere I go, this is always overpriced. It's always $25, $30, and I like this movie, but I'm not willing to spend that much on Requiem for a Dream. So finding it for $1, wow, you know, great find. And I just love this movie. I love, again, these stories about people falling apart, basically, and that's what this is. You start out with these it's like a magical, they're all happy story, and then, you know, they're in love, and you got these people who have everything going for them in life, and then it just falls completely apart. And watching his mom go insane with the pills has never been more true with all these people on medication nowadays. It's a scary movie, and I'll leave it at that. So this is what I was referring to earlier about Social Network, when I was saying that, you know, there's some movies where the main character's not really a good person. You're watching a bad person, and you can't really agree with anything he's doing, and that's Nightcrawler. I really like this movie. I'm going to have to watch it again so I can really remember everything. It's been probably 2 years since I've seen it. I've only seen it once, but I really loved it. And I always watch the scenes with Rick. I really love Riz Ahmed. I think he's a really good actor, and I always watch movies just for him now, for the most part, when I see him pop up. I think he steals the show in this movie. Gyllenhaal's great. Lou Bloom, great character. He's seedy and creepy. And we need more movies like this. It's 10 years old now. Like, that's insane to me. 10 years old. The Martian. Ridley Scott, people have said it and I agree, he's hit or miss. And this is a hit. Very big hit. This is probably the last Ridley Scott movie I can think of. Outside of Alien Covenant, that gave me some entertainment. I didn't think it was great, but it gave me entertainment. This was good. This was a straight-up good movie where you can tell they had some brilliant people working on this. Very good cast. You know, there's so many people from every movie you can imagine is in this. It's like an ensemble cast that I never thought I would ever see put together. Please go watch it. I think it's on Netflix right now. It's 2.5 hours-ish. My type of movie now. Frankenstein from 1931, I believe. Is it 30? Yeah, it is 1931. I always wanted to own this. I always grew up watching, you know, parts from this, and only within the last few years I'd watched it a few times around Halloween, because it truly is timeless. You know, obviously some of the acting is kind of more stage play-ish, and the kid acting's just terrible because there was no such thing as child actors really back then. But this is timeless. People are going to watch this in 100 years from now if we still have a world that's not, you know, blown to smithereens. People will watch this and look back at a time when movies were magical, because this is just, it's alive. They never made a Frankenstein reboot that was worth watching. It's kind of odd to me that in almost 100 years we've not had one really that's... Child's Play 3. This was supposed to be my last video. I bought this probably over a month ago. I forgot that I even bought it, because I don't really watch Child's Play movies that often. It's not Halloween time, so I'm not really reaching for horror movies at this very moment. I don't know what's going on with this case here. And I only watched this for the first time within the last couple of years. I loved the first two growing up, and a couple of the other ones, but I always avoided this. I heard some negative stuff, and I used to take people's opinions way too seriously, and I used to listen to people for some reason. Now I just watch movies if I'm interested. I don't care what people have to say. So I finally just watched it because it was around, so I figured, you know, fuck it. I didn't hate it. It was a decent sequel, all things considered, for a horror movie, slasher. It's good, you know, for what it is. For a Child's Play sequel. Red Dragon. It's basically a mainstream version of Silence of the Lambs. this is my introduction to this franchise. I saw this before Silence of the Lambs, so when I watched that rather than this, it was a slower, more methodical version of this. So it's for people that have no attention span. This basically is the version for people that have no attention. There's a lot more action. They do a lot of things in this that feel straight up out of place for these characters, I'm not going to lie. But I still enjoy some of the performances. I really like Philip Seymour Hoffman in basically everything. And he's really good in this, of course, because why wouldn't he be? He's good in everything. And Edward Norton's great. I don't really like Hannibal, though. That's the one of the Sounds of the Lambs trilogy, or Hannibal trilogy, that I've never liked. Man with the Golden Gun. More of these James Bond movies. I'm getting pretty close to collecting all of them. I'm going to get to that point, though, where there's one or two of them. I already know which two it's going to be, actually. It's going to be A View to a Kill and The Living Daylights. You just can't find them on Blu-ray. You just cannot. I don't know why. I don't know what the fucking problem is, because all of these are in high supply. Everywhere I go, I see them. I don't know. I like The Man with the Golden Gun, though. It's probably my favorite of the more Bonds, and people would roll their eyes because of the car flip. Whatever, I don't care. Thunderball, not my favorite of Connery's at all. Probably not even in my top 10 Bond movies. I don't know. It's forgettable. That's my biggest issue. I binge watched all of them, and I forget a lot of them now. So that's why I'm buying these, so I can almost reward myself when I get all of them and binge them again. Goldfinger, which I did like. There was some stuff in Goldfinger that was definitely good. But, again, cheesy 1960s action. Try showing this to somebody who just watches new movies and they want to run out of the room. From Russia with Love, probably the best James Bond movie with Sean Connery, and probably just one of the best in general, top 5. Robert Shaw's really good in this. Train fight scene is really memorable. There's just a lot of stuff about this that pops off the page. Dr. No, the very first James Bond, born James Bond. I like it. You know, I like that it's in Jamaica. I kind of like that it's not what I was expecting at all. I was expecting a bigger movie than what you get in this, and it's kind of a more lower budget, smaller scaled type ordeal, and I kind of appreciated it for that. Jarhead. I just finished watching this for the first time 5 minutes ago. I'd seen parts of it, and I'd watched some of it, but I'd never sat through the entire thing. And I really enjoyed it. You know, I went online after to see what other people were bitching about, because I just knew with the way it was kind of paced, and that it was more character-based, people were going to complain online. Kind of like with Full Metal Jacket. There's not enough action for a lot of people, and that's the main complaint, of course, is there's not enough action. And I never really thought for a moment that was a problem. I just liked that it was kind of a character study of these Marines, and you get to see the day-to-day way that they're living their lives out there. Edward Scissorhands. Really like this. I'm not a huge Johnny Depp fan, but I've been more open to watching his movies in the last few years, and this was one of them that I kind of enjoyed. So I had it on DVD already, and I figured this was $6 or something. Fuck it, I'll upgrade it. Kick-Ass. Never seen it yet. I'm going to have to put this in a new case because the sticker on the front kind of fucked it up. Never seen it. I'm going to watch it probably tomorrow. I have a few other Blu-rays here that I have lined up to watch that I've never seen, because it's what I like to do sometimes. Buy some, because you can't find these things online sometimes, or on streaming sites. Dallas Buyers Club, another movie I've never seen. I'm going to have to watch this in the next few days. I've been looking for years to find this, and it's never on streaming sites. It's like The Wrestler. It's another movie that I really want to watch. Never seen it, and I just can never find it anywhere. It's a damn shame. Black Hawk Down, another movie I've never seen. I bought it for $5 or $6 the other day, and I figured, you know what? I'm probably going to like it, and if I don't, you can always get rid of movies, but I usually don't anyways, even if I hate them. I've got an addiction, as you can tell. And I like the actors in this. You can see Ewan McGregor looking ill in the back, so who knows what goes on. And The Dark Crystal, another movie I've never seen. I started it on Netflix the other day, and I fell asleep. Not the movie's fault, I was just tired. And it's another Jim Henson movie, and you know, because I just like Labyrinth and bought that, I figured I'd buy his other big movie, so I'm sure I'll like it. It is what it is. So that's the movie and video game haul. So I hope you guys enjoyed that for what it was, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.